Cole Caulfield, Dvorak. They play catch. Caulfield for Gallagher. Back to Caulfield. Wrist shot. Good block. Dvorak. Caulfield in the slot. Shoots another block. And the puck's bouncing right in front of him. Score! Brendan Gallagher!
And that's a great job of puck retrieval by Montreal on that 4-on-3. They found Dylan Sandberg with a couple of blocks. He has no idea where it's going. Right now it's up in the air. Brendan Gallagher sees it come down. One bounce out of the air and over the glove of home. Little baseball season still in effect for Brendan Gallagher. That's probably a single down the first base line. Just inside the post.
And for the dictionary, is that not...
He was told he was too small, too slow, too fragile for the National Hockey League. And for 14 seasons, Brendan Gallagher made every single person who ever doubted him look like a fool. Folks, picture this. A kid from Edmonton, Alberta, standing barely 5'9" in skates, staring down defensemen twice his size. Scouts didn't see a superstar. They saw a liability. But what they missed was a heart that refused to quit. Gallagher grew up playing in Delta, British Columbia, and by the time he hit the Western Hockey League with the Vancouver Giants, something clicked. He didn't just play hockey, he attacked it. Twice named to the WHL's West First All-Star team, he became the Giants' all-time leading goal scorer and point producer. Small in stature, massive in production. But NHL Central Scouting wasn't buying it. Ranked just 152nd among North American skaters, teams passed on him again and again. Round after round, name after name got called. And Gallagher's didn't. It wasn't until the 5th round, 147th overall, that the Montreal Canadiens finally took a chance on him. Most players picked that late in a draft fade quietly into the minors. Gallagher had other plans. He turned that draft day snub into fuel, and it never stopped burning. In January 2013, during the lockout-shortened season, Gallagher got his shot. He picked up an assist in his NHL debut, then scored his first career goal just days later against a future Hall of Fame goaltender. The kid nobody wanted was suddenly impossible to ignore. Here's the wrinkle nobody saw coming. To make room for a returning veteran who wanted his old number back, Gallagher gave up his jersey number in exchange for a promised gift, a Rolex watch. That watch never showed up. Gallagher just laughed it off and kept scoring. His rookie season wasn't a fluke. 15 goals, 13 assists in just 44 games, and a permanent spot on Montreal's top lines. A 5'9" forechecker was suddenly one of the most feared net front presences in the league, not because of his size, but in spite of it. But this is where the story gets brutal. Playing the way Gallagher played, crashing the net, absorbing hits from players built like tanks, comes at a price.
And it's Ristolainen that'll play it back down low, but it's picked out by Pacioretty. He'll spring Gallagher through center. Gallagher over the line, scores!
Good breakout pass, tape to Gallagher. And I think this one even surprised him.
Gave Jake McCain back of the line, scores! Shea Weber!
Broken bones, concussions, surgeries, season after season, his body took punishment that should have ended most careers early. And season after season, he kept coming back. 2017 to 18 became his signature year. Placed on a shutdown line, tasked with shutting down the other team's best players, Gallagher didn't just survive, he thrived, posting a career-high 54 points and leading the Canadiens in even-strength scoring. He was nominated for an award honoring leadership and community impact and named his team's Player of the Year. The undersized kid had become the identity of an entire franchise, named alternate captain. Then came February 2019, his first career NHL hat-trick in a win over Philadelphia. Later that year, he suited up for his 500th career game, scoring a goal in the process. Every milestone he earned the hard way, in the corners, in front of the net, in the areas where careers get shortened. And that's the tragedy hiding underneath the triumph. The very style that made Gallagher a fan favorite in Montreal was also slowly wearing him down, year after year of playing bigger than his frame, absorbing hits few players his size would even attempt, chipped away at him in ways that didn't always show up on the score sheet. Through it all, Montreal wore his jersey with pride. He became one of the most beloved Canadiens of his generation. Not the flashiest scorer, not the fastest skater, but the player who left everything on the ice, every single night, for 14 straight seasons. Then, in the spring of 2026, Gallagher reached a milestone few players ever see, his 900th career NHL game. But this chapter came with heartbreak. As Montreal made a playoff push against Tampa Bay, Gallagher found himself out of the lineup for the first 4 games of the series, the Warrior watching from the press box. When his number was finally called for Game 5, he made it count immediately, scoring the opening goal on his very first shift. The Canadiens won that night. It felt for a moment like vintage Gallagher all over again. But it was the last time. He barely saw the ice for the remainder of that postseason. And after Montreal's playoff run ended, Gallagher said the quiet part out loud: it was time to move on. 14 years, one franchise, and a legacy built entirely on refusing to back down. And in a stunning final twist, Gallagher's Montreal story closed with a trade sent to the Vancouver Canucks, the team from the very city where his junior hockey legend began. The kid who tore up the WHL for the Giants was going home. So was Brendan